Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Black Desert Online and to my wonderful cooking guide. I know this isn't Total War, but I love this game, so please bear with me. In this guide, we'll be talking about this amazing life skill that makes you a ton of money by turning food into boxes with Imperial Cooking. But of course, you may just need to cook for your pets or your workers, and I'll briefly cover the basic recipes for those. The topics for this video will be cooking gear and utensils, mastery level, basic recipes, beer and good feed of course, recipe lists, common resources needed and resource groups, contribution point node distribution, Imperial Cooking, and quests. After this short tutorial, you'll have all the essential nodes to start your cooking adventure, and you'll know which resources are essential and which recipes require less effort to craft. So let's get started. Cooking gear and utensils. I've touched crafting gear in my farming video, so I'll put a card to it on the top right so you guys can go ahead and watch that. However, to sum up, there are three tiers of crafting gear. You have the Logia set, Garanoa set, and the Manos set. The Logia is an entry-level set and the Manos is the Pro set, and it's extremely expensive. These are just for accessories. The main piece of the gear is profession specific. For cooking, we have the Logia, the Horoju, and the Manos. And again, Logia is entry-level, Manos is for the pros. This gives you movement speed and cooking mastery. We'll go over the benefits of mastery in a bit. There's also simple cook's clothes that you get as a challenge reward for leveling up your cooking, and this piece gives you extra XP earned from cooking, which you can use to level faster. Pretty good. On top of that, there's also the silver embroidered cook's clothes, which is a cook's clothes on steroids that also increases your cooking speed and your movement speed. I'm currently using a Garanoa set. I've created it from a Logia set not long ago, and these are the bonuses. I'd suggest you buy a Logia set first if you're just getting into life skilling, since just this Garanoa set cost me 650 to 700 million. This is already a bit of an investment, for me it's quite a bit of money. As my main piece, I have both the cook's clothes and the Logia cook's clothes, and I'll tell you why I have both in a bit. Now, for last but not least, we'll talk shortly about cooking utensils. They'll seem rather expensive when you first start out and you burn through their durability for sure. But worry not, as your mastery goes up, you make more dishes per durability point, and a small investment into cooking utensils will save you tons of time, as well as allow you to get utensils with higher durability that will last much longer. Personally, I just spend 1 million on an advanced cooking utensil when I need it. It shortens cook time by 1 second. You can decide to just buy an intermediate cooking utensil for 300k. It won't shorten the cooking time, but it's much cheaper and it still has decent durability. Whichever you pick, just don't get the Serendier or Calfian traditional ones. They do have a lot of durability and are worth only if you want to leave your character cooking overnight or AFK for several hours. In that case, it's okay and go for the Calfian's 2000 durability points. The mastery level of cooking. Okay, so why do I have both cook's clothes and a Logia cook's clothes? If I want to cook for Imperial crafting, I'll want to maximize the amount of crafting products as much as I can, and that's where mastery comes in. If on the other hand, I'm making beer that I only use to feed my workers and I always have a ton of ingredients, then I'll go for XP. Cooking mastery will allow you to cook faster and get more products from the same amount of ingredients the higher it is. The more cooking mastery you have, the more likely you'll be to activate the mass cooking ability, which will cook a batch of 10 ingredients, giving you 10 times the products as well. This will speed up cooking quite a lot. You can also get more than 1 dish per cook, and you can get up to 4 dishes per cook. As your mastery goes up, the probability of getting a high number of dishes in a cook increases. The likelihood of getting higher grade dishes also improves with mastery, and so does the amount of money you get when delivering Imperial Cooking boxes. All of this means that the higher your mastery, the more efficient your Imperial Cooking is. More dishes in less time and for higher values. Basic recipes. Now that you're geared up and you have your utensil, we can get cooking. So here are a couple of recipes that are very useful and the resources are not that hard to come by. I'll be sharing you 2 recipes here, more later for Imperial Cooking. The first recipe we will want to make will probably be beer in order to feed your workers and recover their stamina. You'll be able to buy mineral water, sugar and leavening agent from the innkeeper, and the only thing you have to get for yourself is the starch. This is potatoes, corn, wheat, barley and so on. Beer is good. Beer is very, very good.
Beer is good. Beer
The second recipe is for good feed, and you may want to cook it instead of buy it. You can start making this one once you're an apprentice cook, which is a very easy thing to achieve. However, the ingredients are a bit harder to come by. You will need 1 fish, 6 meat, 4 flour, and 3 mineral water. So the water you can get from the innkeeper, and the rest you can buy, but it's just cheaper to buy a good feed rather than buy the ingredients. Flour is easy to come by, just by grinding any starch. Meat, you'll have to hunt wolves, foxes, bears, and so on. For the fish, you can just AFK fish. This recipe, although useful, is a bit work intensive if you intend to get all the ingredients, and I feel the price in the marketplace should be a bit higher. If you enjoy life skilling in general, then it may be worth just relaxing while hunting and fishing and getting the ingredients for this one. Recipe lists. In the game, you can check the recipes you know by opening up your cooking utensil. However, what if you don't know the recipe of what you're trying to cook? Super easy, barely an inconvenience. This website is amazing and it has all the recipes. You can search for an ingredient and all the recipes that have that ingredient will show up. It's wonderful, every video cook's wet dream. Adding to that, I do have a list in my favorites of my most cooked recipes throughout my cooking levels. At this point, being an artisan, I'm cooking for the most part oatmeals. Common resources needed and resource groups. A good thing about this website is that the resource groups are above the search field, so you know what is starch, vegetable, fruits, and bird meat. So the resource groups are out of the way. Well, sort of. There are many more ingredients and ingredient groups, and if you're not sure what a reptile meat is, for example, you can go to the BDO database and search for reptile meat. It'll show all resources that belong to the reptile meat group on the page. It is a great tool that I use quite frequently. As far as the most common resources, you'll be using a lot of starch, vegetables, fruits, milk, eggs, bird meat, and honey. You'll likely want to expand with time, but for the starters, these, I believe, are the most important ones in your worker empire node list. Onions, peppers, and garlics, for example, are important later on, and you can get them from farming. I have a guide for that as well, and it's linked earlier, and it's going to be linked in the description below. Meats and fish are essential for a lot of dishes, and you do want to hunt and fish for them, but you can definitely get far without any other life skill involved. For example, I'm currently working on coconut pasta, where I do get my coconut from Valencia and my garlics and onions from my farms. I also make a lot of oatmeals which require flour, meaning starch, milk, onion, and honey. Milk is probably the hardest to get of the must-have ingredients. You need to either milk the cows directly at Ferry's Dirt Farm to the east of Calfion, or you may get cooking byproducts while you cook, like the witch's delicacy. You can exchange 10 of these for 120 milks by going to the NPC Nadia Rowan at Olvia. Thing is, you get very little witch's delicacy from cooking, and in my opinion, going to Calfion periodically to get milk is important. With 230 energy, I can get maybe 500 to 600 milks per run, depending on my luck with the RNG gods, of course. That is a decent amount that have me cooking 150 oatmeals. That'll give me over 300 oatmeals at this point, that I can turn into 20 artisan Imperial Cooking boxes. That's 15 oatmeals per box that sell for 400k each, so about 8 million profit, using very conservative numbers. Noting that also each cook has a chance of producing a higher grade dish, and you require just 1/3 of the amount to make an Imperial Cooking box, meaning 5. On this case, you'll likely be able to deliver anywhere from 30-35 boxes, so you know, upwards from 12 million silver just from those milks. Alright, here we are on the map, and let's talk about contribution point distribution and nodes that you'll need to start your cooking career and your worker empire. Alright, so I'm gonna start at Velia, then we're gonna go to Olvia, then we're gonna go to Heidel, and then we're gonna go to Calfion, because I think these are the essential ones that you will want to get as soon as possible. So remember, most important ingredients. You have starch, fruit, vegetable, chicken meats or bird meats, eggs, and cooking honey. Those are the most important ones, and those are the ones we're gonna get. So here at Velia, most importantly, you're gonna get Finto farm with potatoes and chicken meat and eggs. Egg is a random drop from the workers there. So the luckier the worker, the higher the chance that they will drop eggs. So have some lucky workers working on these chicken meats. Then we have the Bartali farm doing exactly the same, potatoes and chicken meat, and that is value for you. Some starch, some chicken meat, and some eggs. Then we go over to Olvia, and Olvia we're gonna get some fruits, the grapes, and you're gonna have some vegetables, the olives here. Now this is the only node with fruit that we're gonna get. Whoops. And I will advise you or suggest that you go to Calphion and buy some fruit from the fruit vendor. You just search for the fruit vendor and you'll find it there. Then we go over to Heidel, and you can go for the Alejandro farm, get some cooking honey. This is very important. Again, you might need to buy this from the central market to do higher numbers of cooks, but that's fine. And then you're gonna have the pumpkins here. That is a vegetable and the pumpkin farming right there. Then we'll also want to do maybe wheat farming here from the Moretti plantation, and the Costa farm, again wheat farming, and some more pumpkins here, which is a vegetable. Good thing about the vegetables is if you have, for example, 5 vegetables or 5 fruit, you don't need to have the same type of fruit. You can do, for example, 2 strawberries and 2 olives, and 2 grapes, or if it's vegetables, 2 pumpkins and 3 paprikas, or 3 olives, for example. So that's kind of the thing. And these are the 3 nodes you will want to have in Heidel. And then we go over to Calphion, and there's one that you might want to have, which is this northern wheat plantation. You have paprika farming, it's a vegetable, and then you have the barley, which is starch, and wheat, which is also starch. Starch, you can have as much starch as you want, really, because you're gonna need to turn some into flour, some into dough, and there's a lot of recipes that use any of these starch variations, flour, dough, and the starch itself. So that is it as far as your worker nodes distribution, or your node distribution here. You're gonna need 3 in Heidel, 2 in Velia, 2 in Olvia, and 1 in Calphion. And I think that for starters is going to work. Then you might want to expand to Aloe here in Atto farm. You might want to expand for other things around here and actually diversify your empire, and even branch out to alchemy at a later point like I did. Okay guys, let's go to the next step. Imperial Cooking. This is the way to make some serious cash with cooking. As I said earlier, artisan Imperial Cooking boxes sell for 400k each, and you can deliver 120-ish per day by delivering them to the Imperial Crafting Delivery Manager. These exist in several cities. Most people seem to prefer Heidel due to its central location on the map, but because the amount of each type of Imperial box can be delivered by all players is set at a certain amount per day per manager, Heidel gets depleted regularly, and you may not be able to deliver your boxes there. Personally, I craft in Velia, because I'm a filthy casual, of course, but then I go to Calphion to deliver. I usually harvest milk after that. Also, in Calphion, the central market is right across the street from the Imperial Crafting Manager. So I deposit my dishes on the central market at Velia, and then just pick them up at Calphion, craft the boxes by selecting the Imperial Cuisine in the processing window and choosing my dishes on my inventory. Then I deliver the boxes I produce to the manager. Not all dishes can be crafted into Imperial crafting boxes, so you'll need to know which ones will work. This website, yes, ladies and gentlemen, another website, is great for that, and I'll link it in the description below. If you press the dishes, you're sent to the recipe site we checked earlier. And if you still have questions about Imperial Crafting, it might answer those as well on that website. 2 important tips, very important tips indeed. Imperial Crafting boxes are very heavy. Don't let them go over your max carry weight, because you won't be able to sell them at that point. Use your mastery cooking clothes to increase Imperial Crafting payout bonus, Logie, Horoju, or Manus, whatever it is. Just use the cooking clothes that give you mastery. Quests. We're finally at the last topic, the quests. There are weekly cooking quests starting on Cooking Professional that are absolutely worth doing. The higher your cooking level is, the better they are. They give you cooking utensils, which will save you some silver, and they give you a set percentage on your cooking level You will also occasionally get one of two cooking quest types that'll have you cook 100 of a certain dish and deliver those to a certain NPC. One type will have you choose between 1000 milks or 1000 eggs, and the other type between 500 high quality onions and 500 high quality peppers. Getting those is extremely good, especially the milk one. Last tip of the video. The quality of the ingredient will dictate how many you need per dish. For example, if a dish needs 3 onions, you can make it with 2 high quality onions or 1 special onion. So a blue ingredient is the same as having 2 green ingredients, that is the same as having 3 white ingredients. Alright, that was a lot of information, and I hope you all enjoyed this and you got out of this one with a little bit more information on cooking in Black Desert Online. Thank you so much for the view. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a like if this video helped you. I have been Mr. Turd, and I am signing out.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much.